There was this young fellow came here, and he was presenting, and it was, I believe, at the Red Deer Lodge. And I thought, well, I've seen him at a workshop, and he was pretty darn good. So maybe I better scope out this guy. And I came with a few other people, and you know what? He was better talking than he was in that workshop I'd seen a while back. And he actually came and started the Red Deer Center for Spiritual Living. And he just happens to be gracing our floors today. It is Reverend Douglas Craig, Embracing the Next Chapter. Come on down.
Hello, Dolly. Woo! Well, how's everyone doing this morning?
Great.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I was out I did a couple of Rocky Mountain Tour programs a while back, and I was out there in the middle of the glacier when I got a text from Vera saying, well, we need a talk title for next month. And I'm going, well, what do you suggest? So she put 3 things down, and one of them was Embracing the Next Chapter. So I guess we're going to see what that's all about. Anybody interested in the next chapter? Yep. You know, that's what's coming. Anybody got an idea of some of the things that might be coming up? Yeah, and what about all those things that are going to come up that you have no idea about? That's right, and you never know it. I mean, I just had one this last week when I went to pick up my daughter and grandson, and my ex was there, and she hadn't spoke to me for 30 years, and invited me for coffee, tea, and friendship time and talking, and it was actually quite interesting when I got my jaw off the floor. So you never know, change happens, eh? You know. So anyhow, embracing the next chapter. So we'll begin just with a little bit of an opening treatment meditation. So I invite you to just go within for a few moments and be here right now in the present moment. Divest your energy and thoughts of what's to come and what has happened before you arrived, because all of that is not really relevant. The only thing that is ever relevant is right here and right now, because that's the only time we have. And as Louise Hay said, the point of power is always in the present moment. So today, as we go within, we're open and receptive to that one idea that we know is the source or God that is in us, flows through us, and expresses uniquely as us, to guide us, lead us, direct us, and inspire us at all times and in all situations. And there's an awareness within each and every one of us of these messages from Spirit, and we act accordingly upon them, bringing into our experience a greater expression of who and what we are, and ways to have that in life in a joyful manner. So it's about what we know and what we have an idea what we're going to do, but it's even more about what we don't know, what's coming our way. However, we know that what we do today creates our tomorrow. And the value of how we experience today brings a value to what we're embodying and beginning to create tomorrow. So I invite you right now just to take a few moments to bring into mind something special that you would really like to experience. And you know, maybe it's the one you've been saying, I gotta wait till I get the money, I gotta wait till I get the time, I gotta wait. So let's take all of that stuff away and just focus in on the acceptance that one thing that we want to do, and let's just take that one thing for now, is now our reality. So I want you to focus on this idea and in your own mind and in your feelings, act as though it were so. And now as that seed of thought has been formulated and fertilized and energized by that essence of feeling that we gave to it, we know that that possibility is now a reality because it exists in mind. And I know for each and every one of us, we simply keep this as our intention and keep our attention on our intention as we move forward, just chipping away all that says no to what we want in our own thinking and in our own belief system, and boldly embrace that which we desire and start doing what we can where we are right here and right now. And as we do it, the universe gets behind us and propels us in the direction of our intention on our intention. So with this firmly established and accepted, we give thanks knowing that only good prevails, and we let it be so, and so it is. So you see, that's what's about embracing the future. It's getting rid of all that trash that you say no to, the idea that you want to have. Because, you see, there are no barriers and limitations, and you really don't have to know what you're going to become. Do you think when I was a little boy, 700 people in a hamlet in the Rocky Mountains nestled there, before the Trans-Canada Highway was built, camping at Dead Man's Flats before there was anything there, do you ever think that I thought that I would do or become anything that I am or have been or I'm going to be? No, didn't have a clue. Not a clue. So don't think you have to know what's good and wonderful for you. All you got to do is pave the way. You can't pave the way to tomorrow. You only can do it today. So embracing the future is not about what's going to happen. It's about what you can do today to be able to facilitate whatever that is that's going to be brought to you. I can hardly wait to see what's next for me. I'm not giving up yet. You know, it's not over till it's over. So we got to do that. So, before I get started, I'm going to talk today about handy tools for your spiritual toolkit. I hope I get through all three of them. Looks like I'll have to come back and do a Saturday workshop on it, because I call this my metaphysical threesomes. Okay, and I got 7 of them. But before I get into that, I want to just read a little bit about this future stuff and what our esteemed teacher, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said on page 246. He said, "We must not have fear for the future." And he said, "Affirm this: I see the future is bright with promise. It beckons me forward into a more complete realization of my own worth and my rightful place in the universe. All of my tomorrows are happy and filled with harmonious occupations. I look to the future with great and pleasurable anticipation, knowing it expands my opportunity for radiant self-expression. I love my past and my future and understand they are but continuous of one unbroken chain of life. There is no future to be afraid of and no past to bring discord into the present." Wow, that's pretty powerful, isn't it? And we just got to remember that the past is the past. Anybody do anything in the past that they felt bad about? Is anything that you still feel bad about? You got to forgive yourself and get over it. When I first come into this, they say, I went to 12-step, make a list of all the bad things you've done and make amends. Well, what I could remember was way too much. Never mind what I couldn't remember. So there is another way. When you turn to the light and you genuinely do the work, that's the law of grace, because all is forgiven. It really is. And the biggest one you got to deal with is sitting in your chair. Les Brown said, "You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream." Shakespeare said, "Our doubts are like traitors and make us lose the good we might win by fearing to attempt." A quote I picked up along the way: "Whispers of the world will drain you. Words of the Spirit will sustain you." I've got a few more of these to go I like. And this is my affirmation that I do, and holy, things happen from this that I would have never thought happened, but they did, and it works. I know that my soul knows where I need to go and what I need to do to experience peace, prosperity, fulfillment, and happiness. Does that sound what you want? I've been doing that for 25 years, and I got to tell you, it just keeps getting better. I'm not going to tell you there isn't any special, high-intensity training along the way. Take the first letter of each of those words. That's special, high-intensity training. Always happens, so there's always special, high-intensity training going to happen in your life. Everybody clear on that? Yeah. So, if you need special high-intensity training, see me. I'd be more than happy to give you all the special high-intensity training you need. I know that I am divinely guided, led, directed, and inspired at all times and in all situations, and I am aware of Spirit's messages to me. And, this is it, folks, I act accordingly. Not wait till I get more clarity and all that. You act. People say to me, "How do I know it's the right time?" I say, "Is it happening?" "Yeah, well, it's got to be the right time or else it wouldn't be happening." Hello. You don't know how many counseling sessions I've had on that. A Doug special. Today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. Think about that. And not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to clear your path. And every new beginning comes from another beginning's end. And my favorite, always remember, you can't have a breakthrough until you have a breakdown. The old has to be broken down before you can have a breakthrough. And when you do that and rise, the breakthrough is always more beautiful. Don't take my word. Ask the caterpillar what it's like inside the cocoon. There's got to be a bit of a breakdown. And what's the breakthrough on the other side? The butterfly. So, we could get it out of the spiritual books, or we can get it out of nature. We can take our pick. So, the most important threesome that I've been using for 40 years, and you can ask Anna, we use it every day. I call it my 3 no's. No justifying. How can you justify how you feel? You really can't do that. You just feel that way. And it's okay. However you feel is valid. Doesn't matter why or for whatever. And don't matter to people, "Oh, you shouldn't feel that way." You can do gestures, you know. I hope they didn't get that on camera, but that's, you know. Yeah, well, maybe I shouldn't, but I do. So what? No, you can discuss about it, but you don't have to justify it. No blaming. Give away your power. I had a lady come up to me after Sunday service and said, Reverend Doug, when you said that, you hurt my feelings. I said, please, dear, don't give me that much power in your life. Take it back. Say, Reverend Doug, when you said that, I chose to have my feelings hurt. Take your power back. Huh. You should have seen, I don't know what she said, but it wasn't nice, and she left. I guess she wanted me to have power over her, but I didn't want it. Okay? No blaming. It doesn't matter. It wasn't my fault. Yeah, I know it wasn't, but you showed up, didn't you? Remember that. Not my fault, but if I'm in there, I showed up for the experience. Hello. Woof. And no attachment to outcomes. Don't get attached to outcomes. You can have an expectation. We should always have an expectation for good to happen. But when you get attached to outcomes, you got problems. Especially if you got children and exes. Oh, my exes don't live in Texas. They're all here. You don't know what it's like going to your mother's funeral after doing the service and walking into the wake and having your 3 exes all sitting having tea and coffee and biscuits together. It's quite an interesting experience. I won't tell you the comment as I went by. Okay? No justifying, no blaming, no attachment to outcome. It's my 3 biggies. And then this is the other one to keep my sanity. I don't know if it worked or not, but we're still working on it. Okay? And that is the 3 positions that your mind's in. If you got discord in your mind when you're dealing with someone, it's because of what I can't have, what I can't do, or what I'm not. Guarantee it. Try it. This is a little tweak to do. If I've got a disturbance, it's always because of something I can't have, can't do, or what I'm not. So you got to just switch that around. Now, keep in mind, this doesn't mean this is what you want. But what you got to do is look at it as what you can have, what you can do, and what you are. Okay? Remember my ex moving to Vancouver with my daughter for 5.5 years. And was I happy about it? We don't even want to go there. Before I was rather civilized. I was rather upset about it. But anyhow, that's another story. And anyhow, I looked at it. I had to do that for my sanity. So what could I do and what could I have? Not what I wanted. I called my daughter every Sunday night for an hour or 2, every Sunday night for the 5.5 years, no matter what condition I was in or what I was doing or anything like that. I did that. And, you know, that made a whole lot of difference in the long run. Some wonderful things happened because of it. Because that's what I could do and what I could have. So I'll take it. Not what I wanted. Remember that. The 3 types of fear. Guess you didn't know there's 3 kinds of fear, right? 2 of them are natural. Ego. The fear of stepping and moving forward. It's called the unknown. The ego is not familiar with the unknown. No matter how terrible the status quo is, it will protect that and try to restrain you from stepping into the unknown. And there's only one way to cure that. 2 letters, 2 words in each letter. Do it. That's the only way. Just do it. Wah-wah. No, just do it. Never mind the wah-wahs. The fear of letting go. The past. Again, it's the status quo. Well, why wouldn't you want to let go of all those rotten bad habits you got? Anybody had any bad habits they wanted to let go? It was really hard. Maybe you still have them and it's hard. Why is it so hard if you want it to go? Because the ego says, no, I like that. I love the pain. I know what it's about. I can manage it. Ooh, what a story that is, eh? Okay? And then the third thing is the fear of letting go of what I believe about myself. So we grow up with about a few negative beliefs about ourselves, like I'm not important, I'm stupid, no matter what I do, I'm not good enough. Some of those might resonate with you, but in my program you'd find out about those. And those things come up and taunt us too and pull us back into that negativity. And there's ways around that. That's why we got to do workshop on this stuff. So fear of moving forward, fear of letting go, and the fear of dealing with releasing the negative beliefs about self. That's really quite of an interesting thing. Then there's the 3 kinds of blocks that we run into on the journey. So we're going along, doing everything right, and all of a sudden, wham! And we go, well, what's this all about? Well, maybe there's something to know. You know, that wasn't a detour that we took. That was an unmarked road, and we just got a little lost off the main track. Anybody get off track on where you're going? Yeah. Well, that's called there's something to learn. And when you get whapped and get your butt kicked and you're wondering why, just check to see if you're on track of where you want to go and what you want to do. Chances are you weren't, and you weren't listening, so you get the butt kick. People listen a little better when they kick their own butts than if they do getting it inspired, right? Is that true? That's the desperation part of learning, not the inspiration. We always are inspired first, but we just generally don't listen. You know how it is. Okay? There's something to learn. So if I was starting up a new business and you come to me and say, well, what do I need to do? I would say, can you read a financial statement? Well, no, but I get an accountant to do that. No. If you're going to run a business, you best be learning how to read a financial statement and understand it. You don't have to do it, but if you don't know it, it ain't going to work. I had a couple of clients who were brilliant at what they did, just couldn't manage cash flow. And they couldn't manage listening and how to spend their money. Well, I should have listened to you. Okay? Or again, the other thing is there's something to release. And that goes back to the other one. That's a negative belief about ourselves. How can I be smart about it? That I was always told I was stupid, and I believed I'm stupid. So that's another one of the metaphysical threesomes. Oh, the blocks. And then to remember, which people forget, is the 3 steps in the creative process that works through us by means of us, whether we know it or not or like it. So let me give you a little hint here. Anybody do any gardening this year? Plant any seeds, flowers, or anything? But you know how it works, eh? You just kind of go and pick the seed that you want, and you kind of put it in the soil, and you do all the right things, nurture it, and that, and then you kind of wait till it grows, right? And then after it grows, you reap the harvest. Is that how you do it? Yeah, so you don't plant the seed and dig it up every 2 or 3 days just to see if it's growing, do you? Well, why not? Why don't you do that? Well, because it's kind of dumb to do that. Everybody would think you need some professional help, blah, 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 right? Because nobody does that. And you got to get the weeds out because you know what happens if you don't. The plant will grow. You got to do all that stuff, right? So, hey, how come that's relevant in this? The seed is the conscious mind. That's where we get the idea. That's the masculine principle. The feminine principle in this is the subconscious mind the subjective nature. That's the creative soil of the mind, and it has the power and the ability to bring into form anything that's planted in it. Oh, I think I'm going to grow a bundle of thistles, some stinkweed, and poison ivy today. How many would do that? Not many. So why do we feed the soil of our mind with negative ideas all the time if we don't want them to grow into our experience? You know what I said, if you don't like what you're getting, look at what you're giving. Okay? And that's the creative process within us. It works that way for everybody, and that's it. We don't question it. We don't dig it up. We just do what we need to do to facilitate the process. Cha-ching. I didn't think you thought your garden was a garden. You ought to hear the one where I do it on the toilet bowl. In fact, my documentary starts out like that. I had to get something to put in there, so I took Anna's broth, but Doug's doing the plunger in the toilet bowl like this. They're doing it, and I'm talking about, you got to get the mind clean just like the toilet. Flush. Gets your attention, doesn't it? Okay, so I did that. The 3 qualities of your mind. Now, I'm going to tell you that Ernest Holmes says it too, but I was given this in my own way. But you can use your mind 3 different ways. So most people know that you use the directive one. You can make goals, and you can do affirmations, and you can make plans, and you can analyze situations and problems. That's how you use the directive quality of your mind. Everybody know that one? The contemplative one. That's meditation, that's prayer, and I don't give a damn what anybody says. You get out into the bush, and you're there, right? Yeah, you're there. You got to be there, because if not, you really got a lot of problems to go with it. So that's a kind of connected. I work with athletes. One of my girls was a cross-country runner that I got into it. When she got into the zone, they get into this zone. And I said, that's where you are. You do the creative work. And went from a C student to an A+. Okay? So there's a lot of power in that area. And that's the contemplative and the directive. But the third one is the most powerful, the least understood, and the least used. It's called the receptive quality. How it works is you ask a question and you get the answer. And every one of you knows exactly how it works, and it works for you all the time. You just don't recognize it. You ever been thinking of somebody, I haven't heard from them for a long time, and you think about them, and they call you, and I was just thinking about you. How often has that happened to you? Why do you think that happens? Back in the days when we had to pay for long distance, I had 5 kids. I didn't have a lot of money. So what I did was for a couple of years till we got the new plans in, I focused on the people I wanted to talk to out of town. They always called me. I didn't have any long distance bills. Try it on for size. Or I know the name, but damn, I can't remember. And then you're sitting on the toilet and that person's name pops into your head. Now, that's strange, right? Anybody have that? Maybe not on the toilet, but somewhere like that? Or those unusual thoughts at unusual times that give you an answer you've been looking for. That is a receptive quality of mind. You ask a question, mind has to respond. That's the law. The trouble is, you gotta ask the right question. What the hell is this crap happening to me for? Wrong question. You don't want to know what it's for. You want to know what is inside of me that I need to know about this crap situation so that I can move beyond it, right? You got to ask the right questions if you want to get the right answer, because the Spirit always will guide and respond to you in a multitude of different ways. A vision, the voice, the prompts. In my program, I give you 10 common ways that Spirit connects with us. And then some unique ways. For example, for me, doing a Sunday talk. I don't sit down and say, oh, gee, I wonder what I'm going to think. I get the title, and then it tells me what I'm going to say when it wants to. Did you hear that? Not when I wanted to. When it wants to. Sometimes it gets pretty cheesy when it's walking in the door, but that's another story. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with of all of them is what I call the 3-prong cycle of pain. It's how we perpetuate pain in our life. And we keep circulating it because if we didn't do it, it couldn't happen. So let's say I have a negative belief about myself that I'm stupid. And generally all these happen before age 6. And, you know, by the nicest of parents doing things they don't understand what they're doing, like mine did, could turn you into something that you ain't ready for. Okay? So you got to go around on that cycle, and with that, once you can identify that, then you realize that people treat me as though I am stupid. I treat myself as though I'm stupid. But you see, there's a cycle. There's giving, receiving, and utilizing, eh? So that means in order for that cycle to happen, I, even though I hate that and detest it, have to treat somebody as though they're stupid. Oh, when I get to people doing that, they say, oh, not me, I'd never do that. And then I prove it to them, and they're just astounded. So that's the 3-pronged cycle of pain, and how you stop that, once you identify it, is you quit treating yourself as though you're stupid first. Second, once you know where you're treating other people stupid, you stop doing that. Does that sound like the cycle's broken? People will stop treating you as though you're stupid. So those are 7 handy little points with metaphysical threesomes that if you work with each one of those, that I can guarantee you in a day-to-day spiritual toolkit, they will enhance your life beyond where we are right now. And if you want, just ask Tress there, or put your email down, and I'll send you a copy of these, and if there's any interest, I'll come and do a whole day workshop on it. Then you can really get down to the roots. And so I know for you, as I know for myself, that there are no limitations, no obstructions to the operation of truth through me, by means of me, in my own unique way, and whatever it is that's for my highest good and the greatest good of all concerned, that flows through me, I am an open conduit to experiencing that. So I declare it for myself and each one here. I accept it for myself and each one here. And I know it to be so, and so it is. And there you go. Whee!